Hey guys, what's up? It's TF now. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review, this time of the Bandai Tamashii Nations S.H. Figuarts 86 Vladilena Milizé. Some of you may be regular to my channel and are wondering what the heck is going on here. So this is the main character from an anime that came out earlier this year called 86. It's a military anime. I actually ended up liking it a lot, and I was surprised that S.H. Figuarts was making a figure for her. Or I pre-ordered her on Amiami. Shipped recently, came to me pretty quick, so I'm doing the review here. Let's just go ahead and talk about the packaging here. I want to go right into it. Top half here, you see the figure in the box, as well as some of the contents there. On the side, you have the character's name, and you can see an image of the figure on the side there on the right. Bottom half here, you have the quality sticker for Tamashii Nations S.H. Figuarts, the logo for 86, as well as the logo for Tamashii Nations and Bandai. On this side here, it just says S.H. Figuarts, the character's name. And on the translucent part there of the box, you can't really read it too well, but it is the read up for the S.H. Figuarts line. On this side here, again, S.H. Figuarts, you have an image of the figure right there and the character's name towards the bottom. On the top, it just says S.H. Figuarts and Vladilena Milizé. On the bottom here, you have the image of the figure, as well as S.H. Figuarts, the character's name, as well as Bandai Spirit's customer supports website right there. Now, here's an image of the back of the packaging, just a quick shot right there. Top half is a bunch of images in different parts and whatnot of the figure, S.H. Figuarts, and the character's name. Bottom half here is a bunch of stuff I can't really understand, unfortunately, but I think it's a lot of warnings and whatnot. Ages 15 and up, the Kadokawa sticker, as well as a barcode in case you need it. So let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. So here's the figure out of the packaging. It's a pretty decent figure. I have a few nitpicks, though. Nothing too major. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the accessories that she comes with, and we'll take a closer look at the figure. She comes with an instruction booklet, just like a lot of S.H. Figuarts, which tells you how to handle your figure and basically not damage it. So starting off with accessories, as you can see, we have this head here that is completely sculpted around her hat. How it works is, of course, pop that off. Of course, you can't use this head because it looks strange like that, but you pop this off. Just be careful pulling this off. And then you can interchange the face. Here's the face that comes with. Very cute. Close-eyed smile there. And then you have this one here with a bit more of an open face. As you can see there, you're getting an idea of some of the paint apps and whatnot on the eyes and all that. Pop that back on. And sometimes it just gives me trouble, but you just pop that back on. And yeah, very cool. This hat is also just a separate accessory. I'll go ahead and talk about this hand. Not much details and different sculpting and whatnot going on with every piece of the, all the hands and whatnot. Still looking pretty good. Trying to focus up here for some reason. But you see that little groove with the hands. Just pop that in between the thumb and index finger, and it holds there pretty nicely, actually. Here's just another quick look at these faces. Pretty good paint apps. I felt like the eyes were shifting a little bit to the right here, but on camera it looks like she's looking pretty straightforward. So no complaints there. Pretty good color in the mouth and whatnot too. Pretty good paint overall. Not really any mismatched splotches or anything. If I look on the back here, I don't know what's going on. It feels like there's a little bit of a splotch there, maybe. That would be a little disappointing. Can't really tell. Nice softer plastic here, but this can break again if you're not super careful. We do have a clipboard here, which actually has some pretty good details. It's just kind of molded in this dark gray with these off-white, paint apps and whatnot. Yeah, it's actually sticking up here, so that's pretty cool. You also have a left hand, which for some reason I can't hold right now. It's meant for, that's how she would hold it and whatnot. Feels like it would be a loose fit. But also, I would not recommend keeping these certain accessories in these hands for very long because the paint could rub off on them and mess up the skin tone. So keep that in mind. One more face and then we'll move on to all these sets of hands. We do have this angrier kind of open mouth face there. Very similar to the other open mouth face I showed. You can see the eyebrows squinting, of course, though. And it looks like I'm trying to find it. Looks like the, gap for the mouth right there is not as shallow here. Still pretty good colors and paint and whatnot. Pretty good stuff. The only thing I think she should have come with, because she comes with a smiling face, just closed mouth smiling face. So maybe just a stern face. That would have been nice. But, I'm not going to complain too hard about that. Now, we do have, it's kind of weird what's going on with some of these hands, right? So we actually have, they actually look very similar. There's more of these relaxed hands, which kind of looks like she's actually typing on her, sometimes she'll type on her computer or basically her command center or whatnot. That's maybe what these hands might be for, but these also look like relaxed hands with the fingers spread out and whatnot. They look good. We also have these way more sprawled out hands meant for more dynamic poses and whatnot, but they look very similar to the ones I just showed off a second ago. That's why I was a little confused. There's not much in terms of sculpting. It's just a very generic sculpt for the hands overall, and just, molded in this flesh color. Last but not least, you have these way more flat hands, which look like she can be, mostly, I guess, for, relaxed poses and whatnot when she's walking. Now, she does have some pretty good intricate details throughout. Let's just start off with this head sculpt here. I do like how the hair came out. I think it's like this in the anime, but it's a bit plain over here. But we do get some more, separation of strands of hair. Just some more creases and whatnot going on there. And this piece is articulated, does hinge. I can actually pop this out because this can go in to the alternate head, as you can see right there. I would not do this super often. I would just be careful because you could damage this peg. But essentially, there's a hinge here. It can swivel here as well as it can swivel when it's inside the base of the hair. I think that they did a pretty good job. It's, they didn't add too many joints. Like, sometimes Figma will have articulated hair and there's just joints everywhere. But just one joint for the entire, back strands of hair here. I think that works fine. This is a softer plastic piece that can break off if you're not careful, I feel like. So, careful of that. Again, look at her. She's just so cute. Look at that. I do think the eyes came through very clean. Of all the heads, this is honestly the base one is my favorite because, again, in person, some of these faces look like the eyes are a little off, such just ever so slightly. But here, I don't get that issue at all. We do have, it's not really like a metallic gold, of course. Well, a little bit here around her chest, but we do have similar colors of gold in her collar, going around her collar on the blue too, and on top of her shoulders and whatnot. You do also have this armband, which has this similar gold as the neck piece there. This white top with some nice buttons there with a little bit of creasing, actually, as you can see in her top. Looking pretty good, actually. A little bit of creases, but not a lot going on in the blue right here in her arms. It's just molded in this blue. It's not like it's, it still looks good. It's just not much paint going on in here. We do have these cuffs that are a separate piece that have a little bit of this off-white painted on there. And she comes packaged with these fists. They're not, I don't know, the index finger sticks out a little too much, so they're a little weird for fists, but they're basically fists. What else can I talk about? We do have some more of that gold around the stomach here. Very interesting how this all this piece is. It's just a separate piece for the actual stomach going in here. And this will allow for different ranges of motion because it's a separate piece. We'll get into that in a second. This actually has some better metallic gold right here on the front of her skirt like it did on the chest. There's also some red there if you didn't see that. There's a lot of small areas for, smaller paint apps to be applied, and I think that overall they did them very well. This actually is hidden pretty well. I just noticed this now. You do have some serial printing on the back, which, I mean, right now it is a bit distracting, but you fix it around a bit, you're not really going to be able to tell too much. Nice little pouch here. It looks, it's almost like greenish and blackish. Not entirely sure, but we do have some gold all surrounding all of that with some buttons there. Buttons everywhere, really. There's a little pocket right there. Looking pretty nice. We get down to the thighs. You do have the nice, I don't know what these are called, man. Give me a break. But they're nicely sculpted. So this is really my biggest complaint, honestly, with the figure. And even then, it's not that major. As you can see, these knee joints like to stick out a little too much towards the back. This reminds me of some of the older Figmas. Some of the knee and elbow joints would stick out a little too much. Not too bad here with this figure for the elbows. But they looked a little distracting back then. But now when you look at some of the Figmas, they don't really look that bad, all these joints. And even then, this doesn't really look too bad either. With these legs, they're very skinny. So I think that they struggled with trying to make this look as natural as possible. It's not as bad with, how the outfit is for, Gojo. The pants are a bit baggy. And, they're just able to make that look a little bit more natural. Whereas she's got these tights on, so I think that they were struggling to, again, figure out how to do it since she's got some pretty skinny legs. But we have the nice off-white stockings and whatnot. We get down to the boots here. That's some nice gold, as you can see, on the feet. And just mostly molded blue heels and whatnot. So, overall, I don't think that this figure looks very bad at all. I think they did a very good job, Gojos, on the bottom there. I'm going to do a quick 360 just to give you an overall view of this whole figure. It looks pretty good. So we get to the articulation here. And so one thing I want to talk about is the head is removable, of course. So this is how it works, right? The entire hairpiece just popped out. Instead of it going up into the head, it goes actually into the side there, which is a little strange for me, but it works relatively just about the same as it would if it went straight up into her head. It still allows for all this range of motion, actually really good side to side. The down and up could be a little bit better. It's not amazing. Don't forget you do have some separate hair articulation though. We do have a tiny bit of some butterfly joint going on in there, but it's mostly just because there's a gap in there. The arms, you can manipulate them to go outward that much. Actually looking pretty good. And of course they go all the way around. They have a little bit of upper arm swivel too, which is just not very great though. Single joint elbow, but it bends really well. We do have this standard wrist system that can swivel here. It can hinge forward and back. You can manipulate it to also hinge going up and down. Two different areas for the waist when it comes to articulation, going up in here and down in here. So it allows for all this range of motion, which you can kind of see the joint there. It looks a little ugly at times, but to me, not too bad. That's about the range of motion there. You might want to manipulate the hair. The hair may get onto the skirt, and rub off. So just be careful with that too. Legs are a little tiny bit hindered going into the skirt, but yeah, that's about as far out as they can go. Forward, you can actually see some of these pieces separating there. Not great for forward. Back, also. Usually there's only just a singular thigh swivel up in here. That's not the greatest, but there is also a separate one here where the stocking meets the leg. So that's just actually very surprising. You don't get that with a lot of SH Figuarts. There's just a bit of a, not really actually. I thought there was a separate swivel going in here, so a lot of swiveling, but it feels like it's only wants to do a single joint that bends that far. It can swivel at this point right here pretty well though. These pieces are actually, again, separate, so they can move around. Same thing with these, they can move around if you want them to. But you can swivel the ankles. You can go up and down. A little bit of an ankle rocker. And you have toe hinge. Quick size comparisons have a couple of other SH Figuarts on the right there. You can see Goku, Black, as well as Gojo. They're going to be pretty tall compared to this younger character like Lena. And on the left, we have the Hasbro Marvel Legends Retro Collection Spider-Man, which is, of course, going to be taller than SH Figuarts. So overall, I do think it's a pretty decent figure. I think they did a pretty good job with overall the details and sculpting and whatnot. Basically, transitioning this figure from the anime into an action figure form. I think it looks like it came right out of the anime. Only a few minor issues, mostly with the back of the knees and whatnot. It's a little bit of a basic figure. It doesn't come with that much stuff, but honestly, she doesn't really need that much stuff. I mentioned some of the issues with basically the paint. I thought it was a little too plain, but they're doing it based on how she looks in the anime. So, the fact that they don't have additional shading when they don't need to, I think is fine. There's some additional details and whatnot throughout the figure. And overall, I do think it's a very decent figure. Now, if you don't think you're going to like this series, or if you do watch it and you don't like it and whatnot, there's definitely reasons why not to pick up this figure. But the main reason is if you are a fan of this series and need some merchandise, I do recommend this figure. Again, I got it on Amiami for $60 after shipping. Shipping's a little bit expensive on Amiami, but you can also go through other venues like Big Bad Toy Store where the shipping's going to be about the same there. It's going to be about a $60 to $65 figure. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.